Hello and a really warm welcome to the East Midlands Chamber Leicestershire Business Awards 2022. Coming to you live from the King Power Stadium in Leicester. We are celebrating the brightest and best businesses in the Leicestershire County this evening with a fantastic awards ceremony. It's great to be back, great to be here. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes talking to plenty of people from the businesses that are here today, some of whom are going to win an award, plenty who are nominated, to share their insights into the state of business today, but also to do the fun stuff like ask them who they're with and what their business is about as well. My name's Paul Ince, I'm your host for the next 30 minutes of this red carpet welcome, and I'm joined by my very first guest. Well, just introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Stuart Dawkins. I'm Vice President of the Chamber. I'll be taking over as President next month. And I'm going to be the host for this evening's event, which is great. Our President Lindsay Hardy unfortunately couldn't make this date. But as a Leicester lad born and bred and living in the city, I'm really proud to be here at King Power Stadium, a place I spend a lot of time as a season ticket holder. But it's great to be here. You can see everyone, you can probably hear everyone behind milling around and joining us, and it's just great to be at this celebration of all that's best in business in the county.
Leicestershire is a fantastic place to run a business, to host a business. Tell us a little bit about what you've experienced in the county yourself over the years, and tell us a little bit about where you see the future of business, and maybe give us a little sense about what you'll be doing as you take over the President's role next year.
Okay, thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, Leicestershire, and indeed the East Midlands more generally, is it's interesting. I always say it's kind of a region that isn't a region. It's not one of the well-known divides. It's not Merseyside, it's not Tyneside, but it's got a real character, and I think, in my experience, it has a real resilience. Particularly in Leicestershire, we tend to be quite a small to medium enterprise employment. There aren't too many large employers. I mean, there are a few, but there aren't too many. And you tend to find that when things get tough, Leicester and Leicestershire and the East Midlands are really resilient. And when things go well, we do pretty well. We're also a fairly... we don't blow our own trumpet much in this area, which is why one of the reasons why it's great to be at an award like this. We tend to be a fairly diffident lot, I think, but we've got lots to shout about, and it's a good. I mean, the industries that we are strong on, logistics, science, the road to net zero stuff. We're in a good position regionally. And of course there are economic headwinds and political headwinds, and we all know about those, and not to dwell on an evening of celebration like this. But people are doing pretty well, and business is very resilient. When there are hard times, it tends to get through.
Well, what do you think it is then about the Leicestershire businesses and the people of Leicestershire that ensures that they've got that resilience? Because that's going to be needed in the months and maybe a couple of years ahead.
I don't know. I mean, as someone born and brought up in the county, I'm always feeling like I'm being asked to talk about myself, which is never one of the best things. But I think there really is quite a down-to-earthness. There's not a lot of pretension. Sometimes I think it goes against us. I think we could shout a bit more and perhaps get a little bit more on the national stage. But I always joke that you look at Leicestershire, we could never make up what side we were in the English Civil War. We kind of just about got Danelaw, but not quite. We're always, we roll with the punches and come out on top usually.
I mean, it's almost like, we don't want to say middle of the road, because like you said, there are plenty of businesses here tonight that are really, really thriving. What do you think are the opportunities for Leicestershire businesses in the next coming years?
Well, I think once we get to some sort of stable economic platform, we've got a lot of manufacturing industries, a lot of scope for trade. We've got a lot of centres for excellence, particularly in our local universities, around things such as climate change and such like. The logistics industry has been thriving when the world has changed such a lot. And to pick up your phrase, middle of the road, well, Leicester really is the middle of most of the roads in the country. Sorry, bad joke there, but it's and that serves very well. We've got very strong universities. We're very well off for higher education, and it's a nice place to live. It's not a terribly expensive place to live. It's got a good workforce. In fact, if anything, like everywhere else, shortage of workers rather than the opposite. But no, it'll be a challenge, but I'm confident.
And so tell us a little bit about your role over the next 12 months as president. What are your hopes and dreams for your role? What's your sort of manifesto?
Okay. Well, I haven't yet written my manifesto. I've got, I think, about 42 days to do that. That was another little joke there, did you see? I'd actually take over on December the 13th. I mean, as president, it's an honour to do it. There's a lot of formal roles. I mean, you get to wear the chains, which is great if you like that sort of thing. And there are formal roles, introducing evenings like this, set-piece speeches, and media work, and being a spokesman and someone you can roll out for stuff for the chamber. So there's that sort of element to it. In terms of what I want to get out of it, personally I want to enjoy it actually, and I'm sure I will. In terms of the chamber, my themes are likely to be very uncontroversial, but I'm passionate about supporting the community and I'm passionate about the next generations, and I'm still drafting the exact manifesto, but I tell a little bit about, for all the business owners and people in business here, just spend a bit of time actually speaking to your local community and speaking to the next generation about what they need. Don't just do the easy stuff. Have a conversation with them. Because I'm a really strong believer that business is a generator of wealth in any economy. But a business that doesn't generate that wealth through a greater purpose isn't really getting it right. And that greater purpose is about supporting the less well-off in the community, making sure that your place is a good place for your staff to live, your family to live, your customers to live, and that the next generation have got some progress too. So it'll be a crisper version of that when it's finally finished.
Well, you've got time to hone that for sure. Good luck tonight. Good luck with your presidency next year. Thank you for being here, and thank you for talking to me on the live stream.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
All right, so that was Stuart Dawkins, who is the next president of East Midlands Chamber. Hopefully this is going to go thick and fast now. We've got coming in. Don't let me fill, Scott. So Scott Knowles, Chief Executive of East Midlands Chamber, welcome to the live stream. It's great to see you. I'll be honest, one of the reasons why I'm really pleased is that it was hurting my arm a bit there with Stuart.
I said that. It's not very often that I'm on a similar level.
We should just make sure we do this all the time. It's easier for us. Scott, the business world is fairly turbulent right now. We are exposed to that as much as everybody else. How does business in the East Midlands survive and thrive over the next 12, 24 months?
Okay, well, you're asking the question that everybody wants to know the answer to. So what I've always thought, going all the way back to 2008, then you've had the exit from the European Union, then you've had the pandemic, then you've had war, and obviously now we've got the crisis both in the cost of doing business and in the cost of living. So what has always struck me is how resilient business is in the East Midlands. It's resilient, it's creative, it's innovative, and of course, whilst we are in very turbulent times, of course that does create opportunity for some. Of course, what everybody wants to know is what are their energy costs going to be on the 1st of April, and that's the really important message that we have to keep driving to government. I've only done it this afternoon, meeting with an MP. If government wants growth, if it wants that economic stability, it wants that prosperity, and for jobs to be created, and high-value jobs, of course, then it's got to do something in terms of giving business that certainty. If business has certainty, it will invest, it will create jobs.
As an East Midlands Chamber member myself, I'll have to say that I feel really supported as a member, as a business owner in the East Midlands. What are you seeing, apart from things like energy, what are you seeing like really small businesses talk to you about? Because that is often quite different to running a big corporation, which has a lot of power. What are the small businesses telling you?
So recruitment. So lots of small businesses are still, despite the times that we're in and the national headlines of gloom that we see sometimes, small businesses, all sectors, lots of business telling us they want to recruit, but actually are finding that really difficult. You know, we've got the lowest unemployment rate in the East Midlands, lowest employment rate for the country here in the East Midlands, and you think, well, that's great, but the problem is then where do your resources come from when you want to grow? So availability of skills and the availability of people is absolutely on the forefront of small business minds, as well as energy and all the stuff that's still affecting those larger organisations.
I want to congratulate you on being Chamber of the Year. I think that's it's a phenomenal achievement, and one which, it's highly competitive. There's lots of great chambers across the UK. Tell us a little bit about the feedback that you got about why East Midlands Chamber won Chamber of the Year.
Well, they were bowled over by the charismatic CEO,
of course.
But really, why did we win Chamber of the Year? It was around the work that we've been doing, the work that we did for Kickstart, so helping more than 2,000 16 to 24-year-olds who found themselves redundant during the early days of the pandemic, help them get placements with employers. Huge appetite from East Midlands employers to get involved, hosting Kickstart placements. And then it was around the work that we've done, helping educate businesses about their journeys to net zero, decarbonisation, and then also, what was the other things? It was Kickstart, it was sustainability, and it was ESG.
Which is?
Environmental, social and governance. So decarbonisation, low carbon comes into that. But also, the most common inquiry we get from any business, and it's never changed in the last few years, where businesses will contact us and they will say, we know we need to do more to support the communities in which we operate, where do we start? And what the Chamber can do is we can be that conduit between the business community, charities, the third sector, community interest companies, social enterprises, where they've got great projects and they need support, whether it's cash, whether it's skills, whether it's resources. And we've done a lot of work in that, but it's only just started. We've really got to go again because we know that's what businesses want to get involved in.
All right. Just really, really quickly, what are the main goals for 2023 as far as East Midlands Chamber are concerned?
So for 2023, I should have answered the last question differently because it's kind of the same. So a continually evolving membership offer, digital transformation, being that exemplar, obviously making sure that businesses have got access to the skills, capital, finance, helping business with access to finance, and actually removing what are those barriers to growth. Let's get rid of them as quickly as we can. Let's get some proper government policy in place that creates an environment of prosperity, and the East Midlands business community will take that and run.
Brilliant. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being supportive of the businesses in the East Midlands. Enjoy your night.
It's all right. Good to see you.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Okay, so that's Scott Knowles there, who's the Chief Executive of East Midlands Chamber. We'll see who's around. I've got to tell you that it's really filling up here now. You might have heard a couple of smashed glasses. The night starts off as it means to go on. Hello, how are you, Eileen? How do you do? Eileen Richards. Tell us a little bit about your business, and you're a past president, are you not?
I am indeed. Yeah.
So, what do you love about this event?
What I love about this event is that you just get to see so many businesses that are so good at what they do in so many areas. And I think with the Chamber Awards, you get to see businesses that you've never heard of before, whether it's the sector, what they design, the services they might offer. It's just brilliant. I think year on year, it just continues to surprise you that these businesses are right here in Leicestershire.
And there's a whole mix. I think that's really interesting. I love that about finding different companies here. I mean, networking, I don't know about you, but I've missed in-person stuff over the last few years. There's nothing quite like being there. I know online's great, but face-to-face is good, right?
Face-to-face is really good. And again, with Leicestershire, the collaboration, it's a multicultural city, and you see people, and whether you do business or not, it's that support, that face-to-face support, especially after the pandemic. It means so much more now than ever that people can reach out and help each other, and I think people want to do that even more so. But yeah, I've really, really missed it. I'm glad to be here tonight.
Yeah. Are you guys up for awards at all? Are you?
Yes, we're up for 2 awards this evening. We've been chamber members I've been chamber member for 25 years, and we've never put ourselves forward for any of the awards.
What?
But we just thought, why not?
Why not?
Let's do it. So yeah, we're really excited.
And which ones are you up for?
So it's the Collaboration Award and the Community Award. So we do a lot within the community.
Right, tell us a little bit about those, because they're quite specific awards. It's tempting to go for, like Business of the Year and Entrepreneur and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Why collaboration and why community?
The collaboration one, so that is where we are collaborating with DMU. It's called Bright ER Futures. So they're the Bright graduates. We're ER, so it's Bright ER Futures that Scarlett and my team came up with a name. But it's really about attracting and then retaining that talent in Leicestershire. And what we do with that is we pair students with businesses, and it's not necessarily in the discipline that they're doing their graduation in, but it's just to show them that business can be fun, that you can be out there in the community doing things, and just that experience. And the 20 businesses that we partner with embrace it wholeheartedly. So that's that one. And then the
Community.
thank you very much.
Mate, if they call your name, you go up to the stage. That's how it works.
Yeah. The community one is when I set up my own business 10 years ago next year, it was to, yes, give a recruitment service, but 50% of my time is giving back to the community. So that's Hope Against Cancer. We run a Giving Blood campaign. We're involved in lots of different charities. And what we wanted to really do tonight was to say to other businesses, you don't have to necessarily instigate it and organise the events. There's lots of things that you can do, because in our day job, candidates now looking for jobs, they're not too bothered about, have you got investors in people? It's what do you do to give back to the community? And that is really important. So we just felt those two really align with our beliefs. So yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, well, good luck. Good luck. I expect to see you up there maybe, and if not, you'll be having a dance
I'll
later.
be giving an award out. So if I'm not receiving one, I'll be giving an award out
great.
for business excellence. So
Brilliant. It's lovely to talk to you,
And you.
Eileen. Have
Thank
a great
you.
night. You look amazing, stunning. I've got to do the proper red carpet bit, right? Who are you wearing? Yeah, great. Thank you, Eileen. Eileen Richards there. Right, so, I've got a timer just in front of me that tells me how long we've got to go until people start getting called for dinner. And, of course, as soon as people start getting called for dinner, they're not going to come and talk to me. Hello, sir. How do you do? Very well, thank you. Lovely to see you.
Excellent.
Introduce yourself to the audience online. We're broadcasting pretty much everywhere.
Okay, my name is Chan Kataria. I'm Chief Executive of East Midlands Housing Group, EMH for short, and we are one of the strategic partners with the EM Chambers.
Wonderful. And are you? How are you supporting tonight?
So we are sponsoring the Community Impact Award. Now that's really, really important to us, because our mission at EMH is to provide housing and care to improve opportunities for people. And we're all about communities. We work across 50 local authorities across the East Midlands, and we work with people and we work with communities. And our success, or otherwise, will be determined by the extent to which we have community cohesion, that we have communities that are happy with themselves. So, to be able to sponsor this particular award is so important to us, and I'm really pleased to be able to do it.
I'm really pleased that you're here. Do you know, it's really interesting when you talk about community, because Eileen, just before you, was very much talking about community and the importance of that. I'm just thinking about, the post-pandemic world that we live in. We've all gone through a bit of collective trauma, and businesses possibly continue to suffer some of the consequences with that and going forward. How much should one business maybe put on the community element, do you think, of their business?
Well, I think, particularly because of the pandemic, a lot of communities have felt isolated. Many of the people we deal with, we work with, are some of the most disadvantaged in society, are suffering from the cost of living crisis. This is, after the impact of the pandemic. So really, it's important for us to be able to support them. It's important for all businesses as part of their corporate social responsibility to support their communities, because really businesses are integral to those communities. That's where our employees come from, that's where our customers come from, and we shouldn't forget them. We should do everything possible to support them. So we see ourselves and our business as integral to those communities, as part of one ecosystem.
You're an established business, you've been going a while, so I'd like to try and relate that to, say, some of the entrepreneurs out there, maybe the people who are watching this today who are thinking of starting a business. What advice can you give them about setting up a business where they want to maybe have community as a central part of their business?
Well, I would say, know your customers, know your communities, because really that's where your base is, that's where your business is, that's where your customers are going to come from. And to me, the most important thing is to ensure that the people you employ from your communities feel psychologically safe in your organisation. In other words, particularly in a very tight labour market, we've got to make sure that our employees bring their full selves to the organisation, because only then will they be totally engaged, and if they're totally engaged, they'll be happy and they'll be far more productive. So I think that's so important.
I think that's fantastic advice. I'm going to let you go just because we're going to try and get lots of people in here. Enjoy your night. Thank you for being a sponsor of tonight's award and your involvement.
You're most welcome.
All right. Okay, I wonder who we've got next, whether anyone will come and talk to me. My producer Charlie is on the side here. Oh no, I think we've got someone. Are you coming in? Come in, just watch your step. There we go. Hello, sir.
Hi.
How do you do? Introduce yourself and the company that you work for.
I'm Matt Lilly, and I work for Focus, the charity that is one of the chosen charities of the year for the Chamber this year.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here tonight. Tell us a little bit about the charity, what it does, what its mission is, and how it helps people.
So we are a youth charity. We work with young people aged 13 up to 25, and we support them to develop their self-confidence, their self-esteem, their aspirations for what they can achieve in their lives, and we do that largely through getting them involved in community projects, so things that they're passionate about, things that make them angry, things that they want to change about the world. We try to help them to create projects where they can go out and make that difference, and in doing so develop the sorts of skills they need to get on better in their lives, so kind of transferable employability skills, communication, leadership, all that sort of thing.
Fantastic. The thing that I am very much getting a sense of tonight from talking to people is this idea that it's time to give back, or it's time to invest in future generations, or look at the impact on those younger generations that have gone through a tough time. What are you seeing with those young people in terms of both the impact that the pandemic has had and how they see themselves in terms of what their aspirations could be?
And I think it's had lots of different sorts of impact on individual people, but I suppose the patterns we're seeing are there's a number of young people who have a sense of imposter syndrome, so those who didn't take GCSEs or A-levels and perhaps have got somewhere that they don't really feel that they deserve to be. So that's one thing that's happened. Also the impact of being isolated for so long for many of them it's taken them away from all their friendship groups, their support networks, also just the adventures and things that we should be doing when we're growing up. It's an amazing time of life, but it's really hard as well. It's always been difficult, that transition to adulthood. But what we found is that a lot of young people have been really badly impacted by the fact they haven't been able to share that. They've missed out on those big moments, the graduation, the 16th birthday party, going out with their friends has been taken away. And for a lot of them, it's really knocked their mental health, their self-confidence. There's a lot of young people experiencing social anxiety, but then also there's the impact now of where the economy is, and young people feeling that perhaps any prospects they thought they had have been taken away.
What can businesses do you think, to help those young people that you work with? What are the changes maybe that a business has to make maybe a place of employment more welcoming, or to adapt to what those young people need in employment?
And I think it's just being a little more human, I suppose, for all of us. I think in everything we do is recognising that lots of people are experiencing things that they may not have expected to, that we keep a lot of stuff hidden. Very often a lot of people are very quietly failing or quietly struggling. So just getting to know people, talking to them, understanding where they're coming from, but also just employ young people. There's some amazing, talented, enthusiastic, passionate, intelligent young people out there who are looking for an opportunity. So, yeah.
So employ them. Consider who they are and employ them. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's great to talk to you. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you very much. I will try.
We'll see you around the venue.
Brilliant.
All right.
Lovely.
Take care.
Thanks ever so much.
Thanks very much. Okay. I think we've got time. How many more have we got? We've got one more. Fast and furious, but I love it. Right. Sir, how do you do?
How are you?
How are you? Introduce yourself to the audience that are watching on YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn and everywhere.
Yeah, so my name's Nurinder Nijar. I'm the CEO of Fraser Stretton Property Group, a Leicester-based property company.
Brilliant. Tell us a little bit about tonight, why you're here, what your involvement is in the awards.
Well, yeah, so it's a massive sort of honour for ourselves, really. Fraser Stretton Property Group, we're patrons of the East Midlands Chamber, so that's our first sort of link, should I say. And one part that we're very keen to stress is we wanted to always sort of give back of sorts. So we always sponsor a category at the awards, and this year we're sponsoring the same category that we sponsored last year.
Which is
excellence in collaboration. Okay. So together stronger, as they say. So this is something that's very, very, very close to our hearts. So that's why we're presenting that today.
In terms of what you're seeing in the marketplace, in terms of, is it commercial property or is it?
It's residential and commercial.
Residential and commercial.
Yeah.
Okay. So people are talking about things like the drop in the house prices and things like that. What are you actually seeing, and what is your sort of general advice to people thinking about either investing in property or considering moving? Now's your chance. Give the advice.
You know what? This is brilliant. Great question. Now, I'm in a very fortunate position because we have our everyday sales and lettings arm of the business, which is what you just said. The houses that are up to the £300,000 mark, they're pretty much okay. They're still busy, still churning it over. Is when you start going to the bigger houses, we start having a little bit of deviation because, as you can appreciate, a 2.5 or a 0.5 or now 7.75 interest rate hike can have a huge difference. So that's one thing that's obviously, I think, will start resetting the market, really. The land and development arm of the business, new homes arm, we're busy as ever. We're currently building about 300 units in the next 12 months. And that will keep continuing unless the price of materials go really sky high, we'll be able to slow down. So it's a combination of things. At the moment, we're okay, we're confident.
I was going to say, you sound really positive. Like we often hear, don't we, a bit of maybe doom and gloom or talking things down a little bit. What's your view on that? Do you feel like actually in reality what you're seeing perhaps doesn't quite match up to what the vibe is out there?
The media agenda will always be their agenda to show, always churn out bad news stories. They'll never talk about the positives. For every house sale that person doesn't buy a house, there's 3 people buying a house.
Okay.
So the way they've got to look at it is, yes, okay, there's a few challenges, but with respect, when our parents were buying houses in the 1990s, they were paying 15%.
I know, right?
So like we're in such a different world. And yes, I appreciate it's relative, but even then, we had the crest of a wave with COVID and the stamp duty holidays. But the one thing people have to always sort of educate themselves about is you don't really get a free meal in this country. So some way, somehow, that money was going to come back. And that's what we're finding now. But in the bigger scheme of things, it's not a bad place to be. It really isn't.
Yeah, I love it. I love the optimism. I think we need optimism. We need people to understand that the East Midlands is a very positive place. It's a great place for property. It's a great place to do business. Give us a little bit of a view on. You said you're based in Leicester, aren't you? You said,
yeah. That's correct. Yeah. So our property group headquarters are in Leicester.
Yeah.
But we cover projects nationwide.
Okay.
So we are doing projects up north to say Newcastle, all the way down to Kent and everywhere in between. So we've got a really good view of the whole area, really.
And where does Leicestershire sit then in that? If you've got a whole view of what's going on nationwide, where does Leicestershire sit in kind of its volatility, for example?
we're in a really good place, in fairness, because I think Leicestershire, for about 5-10 years, it was always a poor relation when it came to London. And that worm turned in the last 10 years, where Leicestershire started becoming a bit more affluent. Leicestershire is now a very strong economy. It's a very strong housing market. The house prices are very strong. They're remaining strong because right now, demand is outstripping supply. People still want to buy. We just can't get enough houses to sell. So the only way you can break that cycle is by creating your own supply. So by working closely with social housing providers, which is what we do, and sourcing new land developments, we can hopefully start plugging that gap. So what's not to like?
Yeah.
Let's create more houses.
Let's create more houses. Remind me which category you're sponsoring again. Was it the collaboration?
The excellence in collaboration, correct.
What, so, any ideas who might win that? Or do you know? Were you a judge? Oh, okay.
I know.
Okay.
So I was a judge for the category. 3 very, very strong finalists.
Right.
Everyone deserving to win. But in fairness, there can only be one winner. Yeah. And I think when it's revealed later, I think everybody will agree it's a worthy winner.
Fantastic. I'm loving it. And I'm loving your positivity as well. It's what we need. We want to come to an event that celebrates the best in Leicestershire, and I think that we've done that. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Cheers. No,
I'll
you're
see you
welcome.
later.
Thank you.
Did you present the award that you...
Well, the funny story was my wife, who's a co-director, she was supposed to present the award tonight. And half an hour ago, she decided that she's going to start drinking with her friends early. So I've now been put up. So you couldn't even make it.
Right?
She's here. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You might see her by the bar.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we'll see you present that award later.
Thanks for your time.
All right,
All the
thank
best.
you
Take
very
care.
much. Thank you very much. Okay, well, I've got to tell you that we're getting to the